Estamos aquí con República en el evento Chasing Alpha, hablando con todos los ponentes del evento, y pues aquí estamos. We were just talking that it's your first time here. Well, not the first time here in Guatemala, but you came a couple of times before. But what do you think? Like, what's your impression of Guatemala in like the sense of the world you're in, like investment, raising capital, new businesses? Like, how do you see Guatemala in that sense?
I mean, I'm very impressed with what I see in Guatemala in terms of the development, in terms of the people, in terms of, kind of more of the stability that I've seen in the government.
Yeah.
Historically,
Yeah.
right? I think that they've built a very good base that has served people well here, and the inflation is lower than other places. So I think that, doing those premises correctly and wisely creates a lot of prosperity. And I think that the weather and everything in Guatemala has all the ingredients that you need to create that prosperity. So it's very impressive.
Yeah, it's a very interesting place. Very pretty. Of course, I'm from here, so so let's talk about something that I think it comes to mind when people talk about investing in Central America or in Guatemala. Like, it seems like it's a very risky like environment to do business, to do investments. Like, how can we change that? Or what would you say to investors that want to, maybe are interested in investing in the region, which is like very strategic when it comes to geography? Like, what would you say to them?
I would say that if you guys do things the right way and have the right laws and have the regulation to allow people to thrive, right, and be business oriented, like some of these areas in the Middle East, like Dubai, are following, lower taxes and allow people to innovate, the money will find you, right? There's so much money in the world looking, people like me all the time, where's the best place to invest, right? And you have the benefit of communication, right? If you're doing stuff right, it spreads very quickly, right? And so people will come and find you guys and say, wow, the population is XYZ, the real estate market looks like this, there's stability in the government, right? And people are happy and prosperous. So they will come and invest with confidence, right? And so with the information flow these days, nothing is hidden. And if you guys, add a little bit of advertisement to those things that you're doing that are so successful, I think the money will flow in.
Exactly. No, and when we talk about this, like, where do you see like specific industries or sectors? Where do you see the biggest opportunities in Guatemala or in Central America as a region?
Yeah. So look, I think the opportunities are the same in many ways around the world, right? It's where is the innovation happening, right? Like in the US, you have technology, you have agriculture, you have retail, you have everything, right? Construction, real estate, mining. And here, right, has a lot of those benefits as well. And so does all of South America, right? So the question is, what do you guys want to cultivate, right? I mean, the intelligence of people in America is the same as intelligence of people in Guatemala and the rest of the places around the world. It's just applying that. But yeah, I mean, obviously there's a lot of agricultural land here. There's a lot of great real estate here. There's a lot of retail opportunity here. It seems like it's the whole gambit is in play.
No, it's sort of like trying to focus as a country on like specific or strategic industries, for example. Because I don't know, it seems hard to imagine that the next ChatGPT would come from a place like Guatemala or El Salvador, but there is like a big chain like value behind all those. Like, you have the minerals you need to in order to build like the batteries and all the data centers and stuff. You need energy. So how do you see the region in Guatemala when it comes to that, as as a part of this like a chain of things?
I think, like you said, there's a lot of the natural resources that you need. The country is a big country, and the weather is great, and it's a great place to, plant and grow and mine and do all those things that can create a lot of seed capital and money and wealth. And then beyond that, I mean, you've seen what they did with DeepSeek, right? A few people have come up with a better way of doing something, and you don't want to get locked up in a system that you don't think you can do anything, right? You can do anything. especially with the information flow. So if you build the right environment for the kids and the people in Guatemala to believe that they can and create that business oriented mindset, it's really endless what can happen, right? And that's what I think.
Yeah, and that's actually like very true, because I think here in Guatemala we don't have still a big culture on entrepreneurship, as in, but like in a serious way, which means raising capital, like thinking about your business schemes, like how can you get bigger outside of Guatemala, even like. What would you say? What would you recommend to all these people that have big ideas, but they just don't know how to escalate?
Yeah, I would say that um, that believe that you can, but based on reality,
Exactly.
right? Like you can take research from anywhere around the world these days and access it from Guatemala, right? So, hey, how did this company become successful here? What did they do that was different there, right? And I think the base premise point is that sometimes when you follow a political scheme that looks like it's going to benefit a certain group of people in the short term, the problem is that in the long term, it stifles innovation, right? So you want to have an open community, right? And you want to be a business environmental community, knowing that the people that make money through the business is going to help. So it circulates, right? And so that's kind of the natural phenomenon of life and people. And I think as long as you let people innovate and you allow them to do that, it's amazing what ends up happening. So, but to your point, look, from Guatemala or anywhere in South America, data is readily accessible, and you can find out what someone in Ohio is doing tomorrow morning, just almost as well as I can now, right? And so a lot of the barriers have come down, and a lot of that innovation can improve if the policies are there. I mean, people are very smart and innovative.
That's very interesting. Yeah. So just to finish this, you have like a message you want to give to our audience, to all the people attending Chasing Alpha?
Yeah. Find good investments, find solid investments, find people that you like their mindset of how they're investing, right? And, do your research, and those investments that you make today will make a dramatic difference in your future, right? Compounding returns at the right rates and finding the right investments will make all the difference. It's almost as important as what you do for a living is where you invest that money while you're working, because that's what ends up compounding for you over the long run.
Thank you a lot.
Thank you. Pleasure.